video looks back at the opening of the 1939 World's Fair. As the world was about to fall into World War II, this World's Fair opened in New York on April 30th, 1939. It closed October 31st, 1939 for the first season, and then reopened as World War II was raging in Europe on May 11th, 1940, closing on October 27, 1940. Between 44 and 45 million people visited the fair. I have a personal connection. One of the first pictures I have of my mother in the United States after she came from Germany, I have of her and her parents at the World's Fair in either 1939 or 1940.
The Trylon and Perisphere were the theme in April of 1939 when the great New York World's Fair opened its gates to the first of millions of visitors. Set on a 1,200-acre site in Flushing, the exposition had as its theme, Building the World of Tomorrow. Opening day ceremonies were headed by the President of the United States, who formally opened the fair on the 150th anniversary of George Washington's inauguration as president. There was a shadow of war looming in Europe, but that seemed to have little effect on international amity and goodwill that prevailed here. Among the fair's notable visitors, none attracted more attention than King George and Queen Elizabeth of Great Britain. As at any fair, it was the amusement area that drew the crowds that were treated to thrillers like this one. Or the crowd got in on the thrills themselves. At night, the fair took on the appearance of fairyland. Lights and fountains and music, they all added up to an experience long remembered. Now, 25 years later, a bigger and better fair opens on the same site, a complex that has risen at the cost of $1 billion. Its predecessor in 1939 and 40 drew 50 million visitors, and they expect 70 million to visit the 64-65 fair. When the first fair closed in the fall of 1940, the final parade and fireworks display marked the end of one of the most successful expositions in history. It's the fond hope of all well-wishers that the New York World's Fair of the 60s winds up its 2 years as the 39 show did in a blaze of glory.